Well, hey there, folks. I'm meteorologist Matt Barentine. Going to start this segment in the tropics because we're obviously still keeping an eye on what's happening down there in the Caribbean. And you probably saw, I don't know, earlier this week where people were posting on Facebook and other social media that we were going to have Helene 2.0 and this thing was going to become a monster and head towards the Gulf Coast. Well, that's what happens when folks post 10-day out model runs. They're very, very squirrely. And, at this point, because of the way things are set up, about anybody can do it. Meteorologists call models guidance because they can provide you some guidance, but they are definitely not gospel. And they can have a lot of problems, especially in the long range in the tropics. And we've definitely seen that here with this go around with this possible system. Now, what's going to happen is we are going to see a system moving into the Gulf over the weekend. And it's slowly going to kind of get its act together over the Gulf, but it's going to be a real slow process. And in the meantime, we're also going to have a front dropping on down into the Gulf. And you can see that here. I mean, I probably don't even really need to put an arrow there for you to see it. There's the trough. And you'll see a couple of spins. Actually, this model now, the European, wasn't doing this earlier, but now it's showing two spins, one down here near the Yucatan and one actually off the East Coast. So basically what's been happening here is that the models are seeing a very broad area of low pressure developing over the Gulf this weekend. And they're having a really hard time discerning what's going to pull out of that, or if anything's going to pull out of it. There's going to be, like this is showing two separate spin-ups or one. So the models have become really all over the place. The main thing is this is going to be a rainmaker for the peninsula of Florida, regardless really of what happens. And we have that front. That front's going to keep the rain and the system from it reaching us. It's going to stay down in the Gulf and then kind of work its way over towards the peninsula of Florida. Now, this is another model. I just showed you the European model first. Now, this is the GFS or the American model, and it has one area of spin south of Mobile out there in the Gulf, spreading a lot of rain towards central Florida. So there you go. Two of our models showing kind of a different thing, but the reality here is that they're showing something very similar. There's going to be kind of a messy, disorganized, rainy, wet system out there in the Gulf early next week. That's the bottom line here. And most of the rain from this is going to end up in Florida. And you can see that here, that most of the rain actually over the Gulf, open waters of the Gulf. But a lot of rain as well for folks over in the peninsula of Florida. They're going to get a ton of rain. And looking up into our area, not nearly as much. Most areas less than an inch. Okay? There'll be a few spots in coastal areas that could get as much as 2 inches rain. And this is more from a system over the next day and a half than any of the tropical system. Once again, we're going to have a front. It's going to keep it from getting up our way, the tropical part. But we are going to have some rain in the next couple of days. All right, so here's the bottom lines. This will struggle to develop into a tropical system. It's going to become just a big, disorganized, wet mess out here over the Gulf, spreading rain over into Florida, mainly in the Panhandle area. I mean, not Panhandle, sorry, the peninsula. Not so much the Panhandle is what I mean to say. So that's what we're looking at. So once again, all those people earlier in the week that were posting, hey, we're going to have Helene 2.0, within 10 days, they were wrong. That does not look to be the case at all. And that's why you have to be careful of that stuff. We have a few clouds out there this afternoon, otherwise pretty quiet. There's some rain. You can see it offshore. We're going to see some of that rain work its way onshore later on today. It hasn't happened yet. It's just kind of gray and cloudy and hazy out there. Temperatures will be in the 80s here through the most of the afternoon, and you'll see the rain chances increasing as we head into the evening. So let's look at that here on the Futurecast. Once again, this isn't anything tropical, but the rain will be coming off the Gulf. So by tonight, we're going to be seeing rain overnight tonight, and early tomorrow morning, likely to be pretty wet as you get going here on your Friday. Rain around through the morning, and then lunchtime, still pretty decent amount of rain around. 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, things are beginning to get a little bit lighter, but there's still some showers around. So it looks like for Friday Night Lights, we may have a few showers early on in the games, but as the games go along, we should be getting better conditions as the games go along. Here's the day planner. Obviously not looking great, except for one thing. Look at 7 p.m., only 20%. So we could be looking at rain for a good bit of the day on Friday, and then clearing out just in time for Friday Night Lights and going out to dinner on Friday night and after work on Friday night. Yeah, so that's the good news here. Bad news, it's going to rain on Friday. The good news is, by the time most people actually care about, it'll be better. High rip current risk. Obviously, we got that big sloppy wet mess in the system starting this weekend. That's going to send our rip current risk up into the high range. So just be careful out there. Check your beach flags when you get to the beach. Here's your long range outlook. Looks good, really. I mean, we're going to have nice weather over the weekend. And then we have a front, didn't put it in there yet, coming in on Monday. That's the one that's going to keep the possible tropical system south of us in the Gulf. That'll come in on Monday. So what is that? Day 4 here. Sorry, I'm just trying to make sure whatever I do here, I put in the right place. So I'm going to get that in there so you can see it. Sorry, doing this on the fly. So Monday, I'm anticipating a cold front moving on through, and you'll see the difference there afterwards for, there it goes, Tuesday morning, Wednesday morning, Thursday morning, down to the low 60s, highs in the low 80s. Now, it's not like a, I'm not, that to me isn't the full fall blast yet. It will be nice, don't get me wrong. Not bad, we'll take it. But to me, that first real breath of fall is when we get that front that drops us and our highs down into the 70s and our lows down in the 50s, when it's a nice crisp morning. That to me is when it first feels like fall. Not quite there with this one, but close. Looking pretty good. Low 60s and low 80s. I mean, I'll take it. Sunshine. It's going to be beautiful next week. So, and comfortable outside. Certainly compared to what we've been through all summer long. This will be pretty nice. But obviously tomorrow is a wet day. Once again, it's going to rain a good bit of the day. Gets done by night, and we have a good weekend. Then the cold front comes through on Monday, drops our temperatures. All in all, pretty good looking forecast here over the next 7 days. I'm not going to argue with it. Hopefully you won't either. Check in with us, Fox 10 News, 3, 4, and 5 o'clock today. We'll be here on Fox 10.